Hello, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, what neck of the woods you live in. So I did a podcast yesterday, and I was loving it, and I thought, wow, okay, I like that, ship it. Not realizing that my phone had died at some point during the podcast. So I was just jibber-jabbering, rambling along, and I'm like, all right, I'm feeling this. This is good. And I know that I got at least like halfway through because I did look down and check. But after that, I got sidetracked by, dogs and scenery and, shiny things. Squirrel. And so I didn't pay attention to the fact that my phone was almost dead and then it died. And so here we are, trying again, take two. I need one of those snappy director thingies. I don't know what they're called. The cut, take two, action, whatever those things are. So here we are. But I feel maybe it was a blessing in disguise because I got a little lippy. I got a little spicy, not as spicy and lippy as I usually am. I wasn't too terrible. Sometimes I get pretty crazy. This time I didn't do that, but I didn't hold anything back. That is for sure. And there definitely would have been people probably offended. Which, that's not the part that I care about, to be quite honest. I just feel like maybe I said I'm working on being more grateful, having grace, and looking at the positive, controlling what I can, letting go of the rest. So that's what I have to do, because if I get sucked in to all of this nonsense, that's not good. You have to find that balance of keeping yourself aware of what's going on in the world, keeping yourself educated on what's going on in the world, but then also giving yourself a break where you're not just letting it consume you, because of course we have other things that we need to be, we have other things we could be doing. We could be with our family. We could be getting errands done. We could be working. We could be out enjoying nature. We could be loving on our dogs, whatever, but we don't need to get so consumed that we're probably not even going to be, if we're honest with ourselves, we're probably not going to go out and try to change or fix anyway. So I am going to bring up a couple of the things I discussed yesterday. I'm just going to try to tone down my tood a bit, not be such a bitch, and I keep telling people I'm a nice person, and I guess sometimes I don't really sound like it because I'm like, rah, if you're this person and you do these things, you're a garbage human. I kind of stand by, again, if you genuinely feel it's okay to unalive someone, to assassinate someone because of their beliefs or an article of clothing that they're wearing that says something on it that offends you or their religious belief or whatever, I stand by. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a conservative. I don't care if you're a liberal. I don't care if you're brown, black, white, fat, skinny, short, tall, trans, straight, whatever. To me, if you want to unalive, rejoice in the assassination of somebody or unalive someone because of their political beliefs or religious beliefs or, a belief, to me, you're a garbage human, no matter what side of the fence you are. That's not a liberal specific thing. That's a human thing. And I would hope and pray that the majority of that I wish... sorry, my phone keeps ringing while I'm trying to do this, which again is all the more reason why I shouldn't be doing this on my phone. I would also then know that, halfway through my podcast that my phone was dead. If I didn't do it on my phone, I wouldn't have that problem. But anyways, like I said, I don't think me saying that you're not a good human because you want to mutilate children or because you think that fraud is good and wasting hard-earned taxpayers' money on fraud, I think those things are bad. And again, I would hope that others would find that bad as well. I would hope I'm not in the minority on this. I would hope I'm not in the minority of the fact that I don't think it's okay for people to be unalived by legal or illegal immigrants. And when someone is unalived needlessly, when they're just literally doing nothing, like Dakara, and she was only 19, that gets old. When you're sitting there and you're trying to babysitting dogs again, but that gets really old when a particular party decides to really pretend that they care so much, like about Renee Good, for example. Hollywood decided that they would wear pins that said, "Be good. Be good." Aw, bless your little hearts. Bless those hearts of yours. Be good. Aw, goodness. Shouldn't we all be good? What a nice message. But now let's look at that for a moment. Just like Ellen's Be Kind. God dang, wouldn't that be a wonderful world if we would all just be good and be kind? But do we want to be like Renee Good? What happened to her was sad. I feel horrible for her family. And I feel it's always tragic when someone loses their life needlessly. That's sad. It shouldn't happen. It should not have happened. But what's even more upsetting is that people chose to make a quick decision and they decided to blame before having evidence, which is what people do now. People think that you can make claims, you can point fingers, you can make accusations, you can have no information whatsoever, or you can have very little information. You can have one point of view. And people are like, let's make a decision and let's go out and riot without having any of the facts other than one side. We have one opinion, one side. But isn't it kind of interesting that Renee's wife, who was there right next to the car with a cell phone, she recorded the entire thing on her cell phone. And yet, where is that cell phone footage? Renee's wife would have had that all over the media. She would have been playing that footage on every social media platform, on every news media. She would go to all the newspapers. This would be a thing. The reason you're not seeing her cell phone footage, which was right there, she was on the passenger side of the car recording. And the reason you don't see that footage is because we know that it doesn't look good. We already know for a fact that Renee did, this is not an opinion. For a fact, Renee hit the ICE agent with her car. Intent is so irrelevant. Intent, whether she intentionally tried or not, whether clearly the wheel was pointing toward him because it hit him. Now, I'm no rocket scientist, but if you get hit by a car, it probably means that it's pointed at you, because you can't really get hit by a car if it's not pointed at you, right? If a car is steering away from me, if a car is, going the other direction, sure, you can get nicked by a car, but again, the intent, whether she intended on hitting the officer or not, is completely irrelevant. And people are going to go, oh no, intent is everything. No, because here's why. When you have a history of going out and getting in the way of officers doing their job, when you go out and you prevent officers from doing your job, and that's what you go around doing, you go around constantly instigating, harassing, and preventing law enforcement from doing their job. And then you go out and you decide to purposely, intentionally, well, again, intent doesn't really matter, but when you decide to go out and, in the situation of the car, the intent doesn't matter at that point. Intent does matter, of course, in many situations, but whether she intended to hit the officer with her car or not doesn't matter, and I'll tell you the same thing that every other person has said because it's correct. She went out there, her and her wife have a history of going out and preventing law enforcement from doing their job. Paulo, go. Go. No. Go. But when you go out and you're obstructing an officer from doing their job, you're already doing something against the law. Right there. Number one, illegal thing that she did. She illegally obstructed law enforcement. Number two thing she did not get out of the car when they told her to get out of the car. They told her more than once. She didn't listen. So that's number two, against the law. Number two thing she did that was against the law. Number three, they told her to stop. To stop. She decided to go. She decided to push the gas and go. Now, whether she meant to run over the officer or not, it doesn't matter because the officer was standing in front of the car. The officer was in the way of the car. And you wouldn't have gone if there was a child there. If there was a kid there, you wouldn't have gone because you knew that there'd be the risk of hitting that child. You wouldn't have gone if your grandma was there. You wouldn't have gone if your liberal friend was there. You just went because you didn't care about the ICE agent. You didn't care about the consequences. You would care if Biden was there. You would care if Obama or one of them, but you would care if anybody other than an ICE agent or a Trump supporter. Because again, people act like they care about stuff, and the liberals right now are pretending to care about this stuff, but they don't. Because the thing is, Renee Good, you guys act like she was this wonderful, wonderful mom and this great mom, but she chose to get out of bed and go fight for strangers, illegal immigrants, that means they've committed a crime. And a lot of these illegal immigrants have committed crimes like sex trafficking and unaliving and rape and robbery and assault, things like that. And so she decided that she was going to get up, leave her children, take her dog with her, by the way. That dog better be okay because she took her fucking dog, and that makes me even more angry. She decided to put her goddamn dog in harm's way. That dog better be alive. And then her wife also decided to leave. And from what I understand, don't know if this is true, have to fact check it. But from what I understand, she didn't even have custody of her kids. She chose to give up custody to her ex-husband to be with her girlfriend. And from what I understand, her girlfriend is not great to her kids. Don't know if that's 100% true. That's the rumor mill. Got to look into it. So, Polly Paul. But point being, she decided to get up and not be with her children and not stay home and mind her own business and try to, if she's so worried about illegals, then again, if liberals cared, if they truly cared, they would be trying to help illegals become legal citizens. They would be helping them pay the fees and help them fill out the paperwork and do whatever it is they need to do to become legal citizens. But they don't care. They just want an excuse to get attention. And you know they don't care because one minute it's no kings, no kings. And then the next minute is let the nice dictator that starves people out. He's just a nice bus driver. And then they're protesting Venezuela when there's no Venezuelans that are protesting. They look around, they go out, they protest saying, we care very much about Venezuela. We care so much about Venezuelans. Free Venezuelans. Meanwhile, Venezuelans are cheering and thanking Trump and super excited to not have that evil, horrendous person that they did not vote for. He was not elected. While they're chanting no kings, no kings for Trump, who was elected, they just don't like the outcome. So they think since they don't like the outcome, suddenly that means he wasn't elected, but he was. They just didn't elect him. They didn't elect him. The rest of America did. But they say no kings, and say that they are for Venezuela. Meanwhile, all the Venezuelans are cheering, happy, ecstatic, thanking Trump, telling Trump what an amazing, awesome person he is, saying how excited they are to be free. And when they go to these protests, the liberals, when they go to these protests, they look around and they see no brown people at all. Nobody from Venezuela is on their side. And yet they're still like, free Venezuela, let the dictator out, let the dictator free. And the Venezuelans are like, no, please don't do that. We don't want him to be free. We don't like him. He's a bad guy. He's not a nice bus driver. He's a bad guy who starved us, who stole the election. So they're okay with someone actually stealing the election. They don't care about that. They don't care about an actual dictator that starves people. And they don't care that the actual Venezuelans that live in the country of Venezuela are happy and rejoicing and praising Trump. They're like, yeah, we don't care. Shh. Let the white people talk. Let the white people from America, who are probably can't even point out where Venezuela is on a map. I will bet you a good 60% of the people out there complaining about Venezuela and protesting have no earthly idea where it's located on a map, couldn't point to it if they had $1 million. And they certainly, I'd say 90%, don't know the capital of Venezuela, and 90% have no earthly idea what has been going on in Venezuela. They just know that Trump did something and they have to do the opposite. If Trump said, breathing is really good for you, you should breathe oxygen, people would be like, I'm not breathing oxygen. I'm going to go jump into some water and drown myself. But if you cared, if you truly cared, you would not be out protesting for a dictator to be set free when nobody in the country you claim to be caring about wants what you want. So if you actually cared, you would listen to actual Venezuelans and you would stop rioting and you would stop yelling at Trump and you would stop protesting, which all of a sudden they did when Renee Good got shot. Because again, it's eye off the ball. Of course, Tim Walz and Mayor Fry really want to focus on Renee Good because they definitely don't want the eye on them, because they know that they've committed so much fraud, allegedly. They know that all of this fraud, Fry has his head crammed so far up the asses of every Somalian that he's brown. He's now brown-skinned because he's had his head crammed up a Somali's ass for so long. So we know that the fraud is going to end up being tied to good old Timmy, good old Tampon Tim, and good old Fry, good old Somali Fry. Or Frey, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Again, allegedly, we don't know this. It's just, we know this, but I can't say that we know this. So, I have to say allegedly, maybe, but wink, wink, So, of course, he wants the eye off the ball. They all want to focus on Renee Good. The Democrats want to focus on Renee Good, just like they wanted to focus on George Floyd. So, to recap, liberals love George Floyd, who was not a good person. He was a criminal. He was nobody that you should want your children. So you want your kids to be drug addicts. You want your kids to rob people and rob places. You want your kids to counterfeit. You want your kids to be addicted to fentanyl. That's who you're saying you're going to wear t-shirts. People were wearing t-shirts with George Floyd. Do they wear t-shirts of any of these people that died while actually doing nothing? George Floyd was committing a crime when he died. He was actively committing a crime, and the coroner showed he did not. Again, fact, did not die because the cop did anything. He died because he already had heart condition. He already had fentanyl in his system. He already had issues. It's just frustrating because the people that the left admire are now Renee Good, who has a history of impeding law enforcement. Now, if I were to go out and be like, they're in the middle of arresting somebody on the side of the road or pulling someone over on the side of the road, and I got out of my car, I pulled up behind them and I got out of my car and I went up to the officer and I'm like, hello, excuse me, officer? Yeah, I don't want you to pull this guy over. And they'd be like, who the fuck are you? And why are you next to me? I don't know if you have to understand these people put their lives in danger every day. And they have now all of this rhetoric coming from the left saying to promoting and condoning and not having any consequences for those that assault and threaten the lives of not only the ICE agents, but their families. People are doxing them. People are telling them where they live, and then they threaten their family, and they threaten them with their lives. So now we've got these ICE agents who are being assaulted every day. The governor and the mayor are promoting it. All the Democrats are promoting it, just like they did with Charlie Kirk. They all rejoiced like a bunch of sickos. So I am not a fan of now these celebrities wearing these pins saying be good, yet you have Mark Ruffalo, Mark Rufio, probably Rufio, because he probably roofies everybody, since he decides to just throw out claims. Since he just throws out claims that Trump's a pedophile and all these things, since he just likes to throw out claims, we'll throw out the claim that Mark Rufio stands for he roofies people. He roofies women. Since we can just make claims now, we'll say that he drugs up women and he's raped a bunch of women. Mark Ruffalo has raped a bunch of women. Since he just says, oh, Trump is a rapist, since he goes around just making claims, I'll make that claim about him. We'll call him Mark has to roofie women to have them be anywhere near him. Who the fuck is he, by the way? I don't even know who that guy is. Paulo, come. I genuinely don't know who that dude is, but he obviously needs attention. Because does he know anything about Renee? Does he know anything about her? And if you watch the footage, it is very clear that he was hit by the car. He was hit. The officer, the ICE agent was, in fact, again, this is a fact, was hit by the car. Fact. So, again, her intent, when you're told to stop and you don't stop, she's now broken 3 laws now. I don't go up to a car, again, an agent, an officer that is pulling someone over and interfere in that. I would have consequences. I don't go when they are in the middle of arresting somebody from committing a crime and go up and throw something at a cop and expect nothing to happen to me. And if you're someone that does that, well, Darwin will take over. Do you let your kids cross the road, your little tiny children just cross the road and wait for them to get hit by a car and then go, well, oh, I guess we shouldn't have done that? No, you prevent things from happening. You don't just go out and you know that if certain decisions you make are going to harm you. You know that if you don't look both ways before crossing the street, you're probably going to get hit by a car. If you put your hand on a stove, you're probably going to get burnt. So you know that there's consequences, and if you choose to still put your hand on a stove, don't be mad at the stove. When someone gets in a car and chooses to drink and drive, no one ever blames the car, ever. No one ever blames the car. Because it isn't the car's fault. It's the person's fault. So they're all wearing these virtue signaling be good when none of them are good. These same celebrities that are saying be good, again, probably don't even know what the situation is. They just decide they want to be relevant. Apollo. They decide they want to be relevant. They can't afford to be out of the spotlight because they need the money, so they have to stay relevant. So they follow whatever trends people are doing without being informed. And that is the scariest kind of person to be around. These zombies that just go around literally doing whatever to be cool. I thought we used to teach kids, if everybody's doing it, would you? If everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? We used to tell people, our kids, not to talk to strangers. And now we're allowing adults to not only strip for children, but we're encouraging children to give them money, and we're doing it to inappropriate music. Just saw a video the other day. No idea what in God's name is going on, but there is a man, very, very, very obvious man, dressed in women's clothing on a stage with a whole bunch of, I would say, anywhere from 4 to 8-year-olds, all circling a stage, watching this man, adult man, dressed as a woman, strip down to bra and underwear with bulge hanging out to inappropriate music, and then kids had money. So the liberals are saying, be good. Be good, everybody, be good. But they're sitting there going, be good, as they're encouraging this behavior, pedophile behavior, and they're calling Trump a pedophile. Biden used to talk about how much he loved it when kids played with his hair on his legs and rubbed his hair. Oh, they would rub my hair on my legs when we were in a pool and talk about how soft it is. He showered with his daughter. He sniffs kids' heads in front of everybody, so Lord knows what's going on. If he's telling stories about how much he loves it when kids play with the hair on his legs, and he's sniffing kids in front of us, and we know that he's showering with his daughter, Lord knows what else is going on. And we know that Obama and Clinton were hanging out and best friends, BFFs, with Epstein. People are like, Epstein files, Epstein files. Guess what? Trump hung out with Epstein before he knew who Epstein was. The minute he found out who Epstein was, he was like, ew, gross, and he's the one that turned him in, you motherfuckers. God, people just hear what they want to hear, and it's frustrating. Trump turned him in, not Obama. Obama didn't turn him in. We know that Obama hung out with Epstein. We know that Biden hung out with Epstein. Neither of them, and we know that, we don't know Biden. We know that Clinton and Obama, neither of them ever turned him in, but you guys say nothing. You say nothing but be good, though. Be good. Epstein files are bad. Oh, unless Obama and Clinton. Then they're only bad if Trump. But be good, everybody. Oh, be good, but we totally condone nude parades where people celebrate the fact that they have vaginas and penises and they put them in other vaginas and penises. And we're supposed to somehow think that this is magical and unique. I hate to tell it. Let me just tell everybody something. Being gay is not unique. I hate to tell you, men have done things with other men since way long time ago. Like long time ago, men were wearing wigs. Trans people, you didn't invent anything. Men were wearing wigs and kilts forever. Men have been touching each other's dingles forever. Women have been touching. That's used to happen way long time ago. Nobody here in this day and age invented being gay. You're not special. You're not unique. It's not some unique thing now. Stop trying to make fetch happen. You're not, no one thinks that being gay is any big deal anymore. Very few people, very few people give a shit if someone's gay anymore. What people give a shit about is when you're having parades constantly talking about your ding-dongs and your vajayjays. So what I'm going to start doing is knocking on people's doors, naked, totally naked, and be like, hi, here's my bajingo, here's my bajiji. Do you like it? And they'll be like, ooh, don't show it to me. And I'm like, no, you will look. And if you don't look, you're a racist, fascist bigot. So look at my vagina. Tell me how great it is. Tell me how me being a straight person is wonderful. Tell me how my vagina is so fantastic. And then I'm going to go get me and 100 other of my buddies. And we're going to be naked, totally naked. And we're going to hop on our bikes, or we're going to walk, or we're going to crawl around on all fours. We're going to crawl around on all fours with a ball gag in our mouth, dressed as a dog, but naked, so our ass is hanging out and our ding-dongs are hanging out and our balls are hanging out, and we're going to have a gag ball, and we're going to have like a mask on that looks like a leather dog, and we're going to have like 100 of us parading through public where minors can be, and we're going to force people to look at it and say, we sleep with men and women. We put our pee-pees in butts. We like to be, we like vaginas. Woo, we're cool. We're super cool. We're super progressive. First of all, you're not progressive. Again, that's been going on forever. And also, when did indecent exposure and flashing, I thought that was illegal. I know that if I go up and I have no clothes on and I flash somebody or I streak, it's flashing or indecent exposure and I get in trouble. It's against the law. But apparently, if a LGBTQ or trans person does it, and especially if they do it for minors, in front of minors for money, well, then it's okay. And it's especially okay if you get more than one person, you have a whole bunch of people being indecent. If you have a whole bunch of people exposing themselves in front of everybody, in front of elderly, in front of people trying to work, in front of people trying to go home or go to work, then somehow that's okay. And we're encouraging this. And we have to not only encourage it, but people have to love it. People have to think that you're great and inspirational and brave. You're not brave at all. You're disgusting. You're a gross pedophile. You should be locked up. And if I were to do that, I would be. I would be considered a pedophile if I'm dancing for minors. And I would be considered indecent exposure and flashing and all kinds of things if I went around naked. But again, in Portland, Oregon, everybody and their mom can go around naked. And everybody and their mom can be in front of children. And people that don't have to look at it and shouldn't have to look at it, because I shouldn't have to look at your naked body. And if you're in public, that's what you're doing. If you want to be naked in private, be naked in private. But this is, again, what the liberals are for. And then say, be good, be good. And they also want to cut off minors' genitalia. They just want to cut it off before they're even 12. Before they've even fucking hit puberty. But be good. Be good. We want to abort children, but be good. We rejoice when Charlie Cook. Stop. We want to abort children and mutilate children and have minors dance for children for money, but be good. We don't want our border to be safe. We want to allow sex trafficking and fentanyl and murderers but be good. And if anybody wears a hat that you don't like, feel free to censor them, beat them, abuse them, harass them, unalive them, censor, fire them because of they're wearing a hat that you don't like, but be good. I mean, what a bunch of crap. Don't say be good when you're the worst effing person. If you believe in all of that, whether you're a conservative, a Democrat, brown, white, short, fat, you're a gross person. This shouldn't be an offensive thing to say. That shouldn't offend anybody. If it offends you, you genuinely are a mentally unstable psychopath. And you genuinely need massive amounts of help if you're offended by anything I just said. I am getting really tired, Apollo. Goodness. Go. But wear pins and virtue signal and act like you're so good. Again, most of these people know nothing about Renee Good. The camera footage, the body cam, and someone's other, I don't know if it was a Ring doorbell that caught it, but there were other angles that clearly show he was hit. Plus, he went to the doctor, and doctors prove that he was hit. No one said he was on his deathbed. No one claimed he almost died. Now, he's already been hit once before, so the guy was a little bit, on edge because his family has been threatened before, and he's already been drugged down the street once by an illegal immigrant that the liberals want because they love criminals. So again, if anyone believes in mutilating children, you're a psychopath. If you believe that it's okay to parade around naked in public, you're a psychopath. If you believe in mutilating children and adults dancing for children, whether it's for money or not, you're gross. You're a pedophile. You're a psychopath. If you rejoice in an innocent person's death, you're a psychopath. If you could not care less about all of the people that have been unalived by illegal aliens and unalived that were super innocent, like the young lady on the bus, like Dakara, like Lake and Riley, all these people that have been unalived never got any media attention. Nobody protested for them. None of the liberals cared. They only care about criminal lives. Isn't that gross? You only care about George Floyd, but you don't care about beautiful Lakin, beautiful Dakara, about that beautiful lady that came over from the Ukraine. You don't care about any of those people who were doing nothing wrong, or Charlie Kirk and Charlie's family. You don't care about them. They were unalived for no reason, being totally innocent, and there was no rioting. It wasn't on CNN. No one cared. No one cared when the Democrat lady that probably Tim Walz probably had something to do with it. Again, I can't say he does because I would be in trouble. But we all know that old Timmy has to do with the fraud and probably has to do with what's her face and the two. Sorry, I don't know their names. The couple that were shot that were Democrats that the Democrats never, ever talked about. And then all of a sudden they were like, none of the Republicans are talking about her. I'm pretty sure it was Trump and a Republican that actually brought the news up and started talking about it. But if you're not even talking about it, I don't think you get to say anything, right? If you're not even talking about it, don't say how someone else isn't paying attention, but be good. Be good while you're bashing people and saying that people should be threatened and unalived because of an opinion that supposedly offends you. But be good, yeah, because we all know that the liberals right now are the, pillar of wholesomeness. I really want videos. I want to see where there are videos of Republicans going out and having riots and burning and destroying shit because someone wore an Obama or a Biden shirt, or unaliving someone because of an Obama or a Biden shirt or an article of clothing they didn't like. Give me a break. And again, if you are a transgender person, if you are a guy, if you are a man, and you come into my bathroom, you're going to feel like a woman because I'm going to chop off your ding-dong. So, again, that shouldn't offend anybody unless you're a gross, disgusting pervert. If you're a man who has intentions on harming a female, that would offend you. It should not offend any normal person. Any normal person should go, that woman has a right, especially if she's with her minor children, especially if she's with children, that woman has a right when she's in a vulnerable state, when she has her pants down and her coochie hanging out, to not want a dude in there. I barely like it when other females are in there. And certainly, you're not going to come in a locker room where I'm going to be naked or showering or something. That's not going to happen. And if I ask you to leave and you don't leave, I'm going to take action. And anyone that's offended by that is the problem. I'm not the problem. You're a problem. Paulo, go. But it's frustrating, but be good. And then we've got people like Lizzo and Meghan Trainor who are like, oh, don't call us fat. Don't call us fat because we're beautiful and we're wonderful and being fat is great and there's nothing wrong with being fat. Nothing wrong with it. Well, there's nothing wrong with being fat or obese in the sense that, of course, I'm sure you're still beautiful. I'm sure you're still a good person. No one's talking about your character. No one's saying you're not worthy. No one's saying you should hate yourself or that you're less than. But if you're obese or you're overweight, that's unhealthy. That's a problem. And we shouldn't call it, you're being a fatophobe. No, there's no such thing as fatophobe. Stop making up words, just like Islamophobe and transphobe. Nobody is scared of a transgender person. I'm scared if you're a man and you're in a woman's locker I'm scared of you because you're a man, not because you're transgender. I disrespect you because you're transgender in a female locker room, and I think you're gross, but I'm not scared of you. And it has to do, again, with you being a man claiming to be a woman. But it's frustrating because Lizzo talks about how being fat is great and how all these people now, like Sports Illustrated and all these companies, are like telling doctors, you cannot tell people they're obese. You cannot tell people they're obese. So a doctor can't do his job. So we can't tell people they have diabetes now. We can't tell people they have high blood pressure now. We can't tell people that they're alcoholics now. We can't tell people that they're addicts now, so we can't care for people. Again, another example of Democrats not wanting to care about people and just wanting people to die. Because if an alcoholic is drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking to where they are killing themselves, or a drug addict is taking so much drugs that they could kill themselves, I would hope and pray that people would be like, wow, you're an addict, you need to stop, you're going to kill yourself, this isn't healthy, you're going to die. It's not healthy, you're going to die. Please stop. So if somebody is obese and if you go to a doctor and you're complaining about your heart or your knees or your back, a doctor's going to go, well, guess what? You need to lose weight because you're obese. And being obese can kill you. It can cause heart attacks, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, all kinds of knee issues and ankle issues and back issues, breathing issues. It can cause so many health issues and it can cause you to die. And it is a doctor's responsibility to let you know that. And the fact that you're offended by it is your issue. Then fucking lose weight then. Because all of this crap about, I have a medical condition. No, you don't. I looked it up. Less than 2% of the population has an actual legitimate medical condition that makes it very difficult for them to lose weight. Not impossible, but very difficult. The rest of the people are just lazy, and they don't eat right, and they don't get enough exercise. That is a fact. I know that if I sit around and eat and I don't do any kind of exercise, I'm going to have health issues. I'm going to gain weight. And then if I keep doing that, I'm going to gain more and more weight. That is not my doctor's fault. That's not society's fault. That is not because I was abused sexually. It's not because I was abused mentally. Those are reasons that maybe cause us to want to eat more or not exercise because we're depressed or we're busy or we're tired. I get that. I'm busy. I'm tired. And I've had a horrible, horrible life. I have gone through very, very traumatic things. And I am incredibly exhausted because I have insomnia and I'm very busy. But guess what? I still know that I'm not allowed to eat a whole bunch. I know that if I eat a bunch, I have to then exercise. I know that everything I put into my body is going to affect me. And I know that anything I do or don't do to my body is going to affect me. And there are days that I do not want to get out of bed, but I have to. Or I can choose not to get out of bed, not make any money, not go to my job and not make money and not pay my bills, and then be unhealthy and choose to get maybe more depressed or gain more weight. These are choices. But Lizzo's like, I am big and beautiful and everyone can F off. I will always be big and beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being big. Being big is not unhealthy. It's not unhealthy until it became unhealthy for her. Until she realized it is unhealthy, until she realized probably that her knees and her back and her legs and her ankles hurt, until she realized that when she's trying to run around on stage and perform that she's getting winded, until she realized that the doctor probably like, hey, if you don't start losing weight, you might die young and you got a good thing going on. Again, I'm not bashing her because everybody has addictions and food can be an addiction. And food can be a comfort, and especially if you're depressed or have reasons that you want to eat and food is your comfort. I'm not knocking people for that. I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying that, and I'm not calling you less than or ugly. I'm saying, though, you are obese or overweight. That's a fact, and it's nobody's problem but only yours. And you don't get to skinny shame other people and talk about it must be nice to be skinny. Because people used to say that to me all the time. And do you want to know what I would say to them? I'd say it is. You should try it. It's fucking fabulous being skinny. And I had to earn it. People act like I just wake up and I'm just skinny. No. Am I blessed with a little bit better metabolism than some people? Absolutely. I do have a pretty decent metabolism. That said, I run my ass off. I am not a lazy person. I am not lazy even a little bit. I go and go and go. That said, if I eat something bad, I know I have to then do something to balance that out, do something to make that be okay. Meaning I have to drink more water, or I have to maybe not eat any candy for a couple of days, or I have to exercise or whatever. But that's what I do. And I used to always work out. I was always working out. I didn't drink soda. I didn't eat candy. So yeah, I was skinny. I was skinny because even though I was exhausted, even though I was tired, even though I was stressed, I would still work out. I would still eat healthy. And the times that I didn't, I knew that I could potentially gain weight, and then I would adjust accordingly. And anytime I started to gain weight, because at one point I got 40 pounds overweight, and people are going to go, oh, 40 pounds. 40 pounds on me looks about 80 pounds overweight to anybody else. 40 pounds on me looks a good 80 pounds. I didn't blame anybody else. Hey! I knew that it was my fault. I knew I allowed myself to get that way. And if a doctor said, hey, you're 40 pounds overweight, I wouldn't get mad at the doctor. He's doing his job. But be good. Be good, the liberals say. Be good, Hollywood says. Promote obesity so people can die young, so people can feel miserable. But be good. I don't think I like Hollywood and liberals' idea of good. Good equals mutilation. Good equals pedophilia. Good equals obesity. Good equals unaliving people and censoring people and firing people when you don't like their t-shirt. Good is rejoicing and celebrating in someone's death. Good is protecting and wanting dictators free in another country that people don't want him. Good is not listening to people. Good, in their view, is promoting dictatorship, promoting rioting and violence and burning things and destroying things. Good is fraud. They love fraud too. But be good. Wear those pens that say be good while you're doing nothing but being bad and promoting bad. And celebrities usually get away with all kinds of shit. They can drink when they're underage. They can do drugs when they're underage. They can drive when they're underage. They can get into clubs when they're underage. But be good. Be good while you're on national television making accusations about the president of your country. But be good, Mark Rufio, Mark Ruffy's people. Since we're making claims, Mark, I hope you're listening. I hope everybody shares this with Mark Rufio. Ruffello. Again, we're going to call him Roofy because he probably has to roofie anybody to sit and listen to him. You got to tranquilize someone to be around this man. All of Hollywood is just bat crap crazy, and people that believe in any of the crap I talked about, if you're offended by any of the stuff I talked about, you're one of the crazies. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Again, no matter what skin color you are, I don't care. You're a crazy person, and no one should disagree with that. It's weird, right? Anyway, believe it or not, this podcast was a lot nicer than my other one. I got even more zesty. People are going to be like, this is your nice version? It is. This is my nice version. Can you believe that? Speaking of nice, do you know what's been nice? People listening to my podcast. I still don't have an intro or an outro. You can hear dogs in the background. You can hear roosters and all that stuff. But you still listen. And you're still paying attention. And what's up, Singapore, Canada, and France? I pick on Canada and France relentlessly, and there's still people that listen. So shout out to you. Shout out Singapore. You guys or whoever. I don't know if it's one person that's listened to every single one of my podcasts, or if it's a bunch of people. But man, I really appreciate every single person that tunes in, no matter how cranky and zesty I get, no matter how much you can hear weird shit in the background, no matter how much I ramble, you still tune in. So you freaking rock my socks. I appreciate you greatly. And if you're still listening and not offended, man, you're going to get somewhere in life. You are. You're going to get somewhere in life. You're not going to be one of these useless people going around contributing nothing. Don't be useless. Please. We have enough useless people. Let's contribute. Let's contribute. Let's actually help people. Let's go to soup kitchens. Let's go to assisted living facilities and visit with elderly people who have no family members. Let's go to the fire department and say, hey, while you're rushing into a burning building and we're all rushing out, while you're putting your lives in danger, we appreciate you. Go tell an ICE agent that you appreciate them. If there's any ICE agents listening, I appreciate you. I think you're doing an excellent job. And again, you're doing what the majority voted for. And just because the liberals like to say, it's a dictatorship, he wasn't voted for. No, you, my little petite dewdrop, you didn't vote for him. The rest of America did. The rest of America did. You didn't. And just because you don't like something, it's not about you, Cupcake. Okay, Pooks. Okay, Pookie Dookie. It's not about you. So do a little less you and do a little more thinking about others. You know, it's okay to take you time. It's okay you should worry about you as far as things that you can control and things you can fix about you. But when I say about worry about others, I mean, if you're going to worry about others, if you're going to, it should be helping others. It should be contributing. It should be doing something good and positive. But it shouldn't be judging what they're doing. Because again, if you don't like it, then that's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to unalive them for it. I shouldn't have to say that. I should not have to say, hey, don't unalive someone because you don't like their t-shirt. But in today's day and age, I guess we have to say that now. So thank you for listening so much. I appreciate it greatly. And you know what? Don't be good. Don't be kind. Just be compassionate, be graceful, have respect, have manners, have dignity, have self-respect and respect for others, have manners, have dignity, have morals, have standards. My gosh. Renee Good and George Floyd are not people you should be modeling yourselves after. But if that's your poster children and Maduro, then again, you got something. You can just look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm fucked in the head and I need help. Okay? I hope I help some people out there. I know I'm sounding like a condescending asshole. My God, anybody that's listening to my podcast for the first time is going to be like, damn, bitch, you're just getting worse and worse. Ugh, okay, so I'm going to breathe. And I'm going to play with these pooches. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to focus on the beauty that is America. I'm going to focus on the things I have, which is my family's health and my health. I love my family, and I'm glad that they are safe, and I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on this gorgeous day. It is beautiful in my neck of the woods. Thank you, and I'm going to focus on the fact that I am incredibly excited that everybody has been listening to my podcast. So many people have been tuning in, and it means the world to me. So thank you very much. All right, until next time.